right, 5th grade, second 6 weeks reading test. Number 1, the author organizes this selection by A, describing the events during one summer evening in New York City, B, explaining the history of the game, Scully, and how it is played, C, listing the advantages and disadvantages of landing in no man's land, D, comparing it to the old game Scully with other popular street names. Number 2, why does the author write, maybe your parents or even your grandparents used to play Scully when they were young? F, to show readers that Scully is a popular game. G, to show readers that Scully is an old game. H, to show readers that Scully is an inexpensive game. J, to show readers how easy it is to play Scully. 3. By reading the selection and looking at the diagram, the reader can conclude that to complete a game of Scully, the final shot must land A, in the center of the Scully square, B, on one of the corners of the Scully square, C, on an outside line of the Scully square, D, in a shaded area of the Scully square. 4. Which statement best summarizes the illustration next to paragraph 1? F, how Scully and Skelly differ. G, where to put the washers. H, how to place each number. J, what a Scully square looks like. Number 5. What does the author use to support the information in the selection? A, scientific research. B, interviews with experts. C, personal observation. D, stories from books. 6. Which is the most likely reason the author wrote this selection? F, to convince readers to play Scully. G, to explain to readers how to play Scully. H, to show readers that Scully will help them in math. J, to show readers how Scully compares to other games. Number 7. Why does the photograph near the end of the selection help the reader better understand? Why James thinks the silverfish will scare Miss Freeman. B, why Miss Freeman is interested in insects. C, why James screams and drops the insect. D, why Miss Freeman thinks James is bored and in the library. 8. Which paragraph is best supported by the photograph near the end of the selection? Paragraph 10, paragraph 13, paragraph 22, paragraph 27. 9. Why doesn't James like going to the library? He does not like to read. He does not like to talk to the librarian. He is afraid of the bugs he finds there. He is bored by his schoolwork. Question 10. How did the author most likely use the photograph at the end of the selection? F, to show the seahorse's natural habitat. D, to demonstrate how small seahorses are. H, to show how effective camouflage can be. J, to demonstrate what a coral reef looks like. 11. Which statement best explains what seahorses and stick insects have in common? A, their camouflage abilities are not well understood by humans. B, they can change the color and texture of their skin. C, they blend in more by letting things grow on them. D, their camouflage keeps them hidden from all major predators. 12. How does the author support the idea that camouflage is an amazing defense? F, by explaining the relationship between predators and prey. G, by describing the habitats where some animals who use camouflage live. H, by writing the main predators of the different animals who use camouflage. J, by explaining the mystery of how a cuttlefish can match its habitat so well. 13. Why do seahorses let small animals grow on them? A, to blend in better with the ocean floor. B, to blend better with the coral they live in. C, to mimic the algae in seagrass beds. D, to change the color of their skin. 14. Which sentence best explains how effective camouflage can be? One of the most basic animal defenses is camouflage. G, their camouflage makes them almost impossible to spot, and this keeps them safe from most predators. H, scientists have not yet figured out how they can detect colors and patterns so well. J, seahorses have to hide themselves to keep from becoming food for crabs, fish, and stingrays. 15. Which sentence from paragraph 2 best summarizes the photograph at the beginning of the selection? A, they mimic the look of the branches where they live. B, bats are the biggest threat to stick insects because the bats do not rely on their sight to hunt. C, some species even allow themselves to become covered in moss to improve their disguise. D, stick insects are food for birds, rodents, and reptiles. All right, on the writing test, I'm going to read you the questions that have to do with revising. Number 2, Michael wants to use a more accurate word than given in sentence 6. Which of the following could best replace this word? Shown, served, cleaned, placed. Number 5, choose the best option for combining sentences 3 and 4 in the first paragraph. A, it all began when I was picked up and sent to the market at the orchard. B, in the orchard, it all began when I was picked up and sent to the market. C, it all began in an apple orchard when I was picked up and sent to the market. D, in the orchard, I was picked up and sent to the market when it all began. D, choose the best option for correcting sentence 5 in the first paragraph. F, at the local market, I waited to be buys by a local family. G, at the local market, I waited to be buy by a local family. H, at the market, I waited to be bought by a local family. J, make no change. Number 7, which of the following is the best way to combine and correctly punctuate sentences 9 and 10? A, he placed everything in a pie pan and he covered it with dough. B, he placed everything in a pie pan and covered it with dough. C, he placed everything in a pie pan, he covered it with dough. D, he placed everything in a pie pan, he covered it with dough. Number 8, what is the best way to combine sentences 13 and 14? F, next, Cinderella's fairy godmother finds some mice. She turned them into buffalo to pull the covered wagon. G, Cinderella's fairy godmother next turned some mice for buffalo to pull the wagon. H, at some time her fairy godmother turned some mice into buffalo for a covered wagon. J, next, Cinderella's fairy godmother found some mice and turned them into buffalo to pull the covered wagon. 9, which of these sentences should be deleted? Sentence 7, Sentence 9, Sentence 15, Sentence 20.